don't know. I'm just so locked in. I feel like I'm touching my prime. I'm touching my prime years. I'm getting better and better. I've been watching my fights, and I just feel like I'm touching these years where it's about to get real scary for these fighters. I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter could beat me.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, Rex? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. How y'all doing, man? Look, I'm gonna get straight to it. I want to talk about the 2 weeks out fight that we have on our hands right now with ShakurStevenson and Edwin Edwindelossantos. And before I even go run down how we actually got here, you know what I'm saying, I want to say I'm very excited for this fight. You know, originally it was supposed to be Frank Martin and ShakurStevenson. Out of respect for Frank Martin, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna beat that dead horse. I rock with Frank Martin. I hope that he has a nice, well thought out, well calculated game plan. I know the whole PBC league with Showtime, I know that put some things up in the air. You know, the controversy behind, you know, why he said no to this deal, why he pulled out, all those things, you know what I'm saying. I wish Frank the best, you know, and I thought that was a very good fight between Frank Martin and De Los Santos. I personally wouldn't have walked away from that deal if I was Frank. That's just me. I'm still pulling for him. I'm still riding with him. So salute to Frank, man. I hope you got some things going on. But I had earlier I had mentioned that I felt as though that a fight between ShakurStevenson and Frank Martin would have been restoring order. You know, and why do I say that? Because in all essence, man, when you look at Undisputed and how it happened, you know what I'm saying, T.O. got no credit for it, even though he really was, by the letter of the law, he really was. Didn't get any credit for Lomachenko. Then that belt get passed from him to Kambosos to Devin Haney. Devin Haney defended against that same guy, and then defended against the washed up Loma. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's how it was. You know, so really the best really didn't ever fight the best when that came down to it, you know, in the division, when we talk about the landscape of the 135 and all these possibilities, because it's crazy how Tank got all these options and all these people he's supposed to fight at 135, you know, but the one who's titled the king, you know, gets all of the appreciation and all the praise for actually galvanizing all those belts, when all actuality it was one fight. He defended it against that same champion, and he defended it one more time. So he actually beat one current champion and defended against a former champion in Lomachenko. You know, that's all emotions aside, you know, that's actually what happened. How did we get here? You know, I'm not going to get into the whole Devin Haney thing, you know, and you know, trying to throw darts at that. I'm done with beating that dead horse. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney has a tall task in front of him with a gentleman by the name of Regis Progress, you know, and that fight is going to be taking place in Sagittarius season on December the 9th. So he's at 140, and when you really start talking about all the reasons and all the pointing fingers and all this or whatever and how Shakur ducked, it really sounds like an Einstein equation with some Chinese arithmetic mixed in there. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it looks like right there. So hey, that's just me. You know, long story short, ShakurStevenson petitioned to be the mandatory for the WBC at 135. He was granted that opportunity to be the mandatory. It was either go to purse bid or Devin decide whether or not he's gonna fight Regis or Shakur. Devin decide he's gonna go over to 140. For whatever reason, once again, whatever reason, he dropped that belt. He's considered the champion in recess for that belt, and now that belt is up for grabs. You know, that's what the history books are gonna say. And we have Edwindelossantos and ShakurStevenson getting ready to fight for this belt And I believe that there's more equity in this belt. A lot of people make a big hoopla about, oh, he could have fought once to get all the belt. Yes, but that's just another tool that people use when they want to run down the reputation of a fighter by saying, oh man, you only fought one time to get it or whatever, because they're not collected. A la how Jamel Charlo got all his belts. A la how Spence was going about getting all his belts. When you go by, even Canelo, when he made his run at 168, when you go by and you pick it up one by one by one, it's more equity in those belts. There's more wars, there's more of a storyline behind those belts and the history behind those belts. And I believe that since this belt is up for grabs, the fact that you have these two guys fighting for that belt, it's going to restore some order, starting with that green belt, the highly coveted green belt, the WBC, you know, for those who want to pursue legacy and go, you know, for the straps, because a lot of people put a lot of weight on those straps. You know what I'm saying? You might as well get a bag while going to go get them straps. It's Shakur Stevenson in his third weight division, you know, getting ready to be, if he is to pull this off, he's getting ready to be a 3-division champion. Meanwhile, you got Edwindelossantos. The age difference, Shakur is 26, Santos is 24. When we go over the measurements, we got Shakur Stevenson, 5'7", 68-inch arm reach. We got De Los Santos 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. So De Los Santos has the height and the reach. As far as hand speed, I would say maybe I would give the hand speed edge to De Los Santos. When I go to defense, definitely Shakur. He is the definition of hit and not get hit. And up there with Shakur Stevenson, I think the only person probably above him is Dimitri Bivol, who I call the Matador. He's also in my boxes to watch. All these boxes I'm talking about right now are in my boxes to watch collection. You know what I'm saying? I have titled videos. I have history in me actually speaking and talking about these guys over a sustained period of time. This is not fly by night. I got a hold of this fight when I really started looking at the landscape of 135, because I said, man, I wanted one big fight. I'm not going to mention the two names. I wanted one big fight to actually kind of bring some kind of order and structure as to, you know, these two different, you know, worlds that we live in when we talk about boxing. But that didn't happen. And I was looking forward ahead, and I said, man, what's the best scenario to happen? And I said, well, who could Shakur fight? You know, because if you think about it, Shakur was a surprise that he was coming up to 135 when he did. So I was like, who could he fight? Got wind that him and De Los Santos had been jaw-jacking. And it was last year, it was in Sagittarius season around, it was Christmas, when I actually did an episode, because I was going down the line and I saw that De Los Santos had been on Shakur's heels. I'm talking about social media and everything. You know, he was on this man's heels. He done went up to New Jersey. They've been jaw-jacking. He was, you know, calling himself the Terminator because he was chasing Chris Colbert. You know, he also called, he also was referring to Isaac Pitbull Cruz as a poodle, you know, and he was basically duck hunting, you know what I mean, because he was knocking on a lot of different doors with a lot of different names, and he too got turned down. You know, he did suffer one loss. He's 16-1 with 14 knockouts, 87% knockout ratio. He is a knockout artist. Yes, he is. You know, when it comes to Shakur, he's 20-0 with 10 knockouts, so he's a 50% knockout artist, but he's the definition of hit and not get hit. He's very slippery. He's a master at distance. He might be the master at keeping his distance. You know what I'm saying? He's very calculated, very accurate, very sharp. If you look at textbook, technique, all that, that's what Shakur is, all wrapped in one. And in my boxes to watch collection, that's why I call him the definition. And of course, the grenade, La Granada, he's the grenade in the boxes to watch collection. But recently, it's something very interesting I wanna point to. You know what I'm saying? And salute to this young man, Ritchardson Hitchins, the one who they call Africa. I call him Rain Man in my boxes to watch collection. You know, he's been in the ring with a lot of different people. He was over there with Floyd. You know, he's cool with Tank. He's cool with Shakur. You know, and he talks. And when the young man, it's different when the boxer said, like when it's coming from your peers, because he has nothing to gain by actually telling the truth on either side. He actually would have more than lose by actually telling the truth. a circumstance I'm very familiar with. You know what I'm saying? I often miss out because when I tell the utter truth, people are like, oh man, you're trolling. That's why I always say feed the trolls. Because when you start telling the truth, they say you're trolling. So I'm like, well, I'm going to keep telling the truth. So in essence, I'm feeding the trolls. That's just how it goes. But in looking at and listening to what Ritchardson Hitchins said, he said, listen, this is a true 50-50 fight. And a lot of people was like, oh, what does he mean? You had Shakur, Stevenson, I guess you could say fanatics. You could say fanatics. You had, I guess, I don't know. I'm going to put him in a straight jacket. Because I said, if Ritchardson Hitchins comes out and he gives the brutal truth about how dangerous Santos is, and he lets it be known that he is a very good boxer. He's known more for his power, but he's a very smart, sharp boxer. He's technical. He said he has good hand speed. He said he rocking like Sean Jose Zepeda, the one who he just, you know what I'm saying, fought. And you know, pretty much dominated. You know, made it look like easy work. So he comes out and a lot of Shakur diehard fans like, oh man, who is he? Is he talk too much? And he just, I'm like, man, what are y'all talking about? Like, I didn't chime in. I just, you know, sit back and watch, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the Pulse of Boxing. But I was sitting there like, why would you come down on Ritchardson Hitchins for telling the truth about a dangerous person like Santos? It would actually behoove you to actually be truthful about who this man really is, what he's really capable of, and if Shakur Stevenson is to beat him, it's going to make him look that much better. But I don't see how people, so it's darn if you do, if you don't, because if you say, oh man, Santos, he just a bum, who knows him, unless you're a diehard fan, they'll be like, oh man, so now Santos, so it's one of them things where however you want to paint Santos, however you want to paint that man, whatever taste you prefer, it's how you're going to perceive that young man. I do know he's training his younger brother to go into the Olympics. I do know that he's focused. Yes, he suffered a loss to Willie Foster. However, he put Venezuela on his back pockets, and when it came to Joseph Adorno, he made him put his hands in his pockets. Much like how Tio actually made Loma put his hands in his pocket for like the first 7 rounds. It was something like that, but this was more towards the end. A lot of people felt like Santos could have stepped on the gas and got this man out of there. He's very explosive. I heard Ritchardson Hitchins, he actually talked about his chin. He said, we don't know whether or not he had a chin. You know, I know Ryu was able to make him touch the canvas, but he got right back up, answered, and stopped it. You know, the referee had to come in and console him. Ryu Venezuela, he's on his way of bouncing back. He got another showdown. You know, the tea leaves are saying he got another showdown coming down again with Chris Colbert, which would be a very, very good fight. That was actually a real good fight. But however, when it comes to Santos, man, he is a mystery man of some sort. But we do know that he has personality and character. He definitely has a style that can present some problems. And I, too, believe that, man, this can go bad. As a Shakur Stevenson fan, I can say that this can go bad. If he overlooks this man, if he looks past Santos, all it takes is one hit. We've never seen Shakur rock. We've never seen him hurt or in trouble. You know, and I think this is going to be a big test. You know, everybody say that the ultimate boxer can always neutralize power, and that's what they say that Shakur would actually do with Tank Davis. You know, I just think that Tank Davis is a little bit more special. It's not about him. But in regards to this fight, I think that this is a very good fight. I think that the winner of this fight will have equity in that belt. The loser will have nothing to hang their head about. And this is what boxing is all about right here. Especially when two fighters, more importantly, actually want to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about it. We're 2 weeks out. I've been looking at some CompuBox stats and things like that. I don't think with this fight, I don't think I'm gonna have to go through that. I don't think I'm gonna have to go through a video with it. I will if it entails, depending on, you know, the response and everything I get for this one. But I'm gonna continue to push forward and sell this fight. I salute Ritchardson Hitchins because let me tell you something about him. It's crazy how when he was telling the truth about another fighter, a champion, you know, it's, oh man, he's hating, he's this and this. Now he's telling the truth on a quote-unquote friend of his, and now he's hating once again. And he talks too much. I'm like, no, that's what good friends are for. Good friends will actually speak the truth and say, oh, no, that guy's a bum. But this guy ain't nothing to shake a stick at. And that's what he did. He said that Santos is very dangerous. He said, obviously, ShakurStevenson has a lot more experience. You know, he's definitely more polished. But he did say we never seen Shakur get touched or hurt, or, you know what I'm saying, things like that. And we haven't. He's a master at getting out. He knows how to escape. He knows how to create his own distance. He knows how to hit you and not allow you to hit him. You know, however, I think that the temperament, I think that the explosiveness of Santos makes this the perfect storm. You know, I would love to get your comment and your feedback on this one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are just just like Devin Haney and Regis. Oh, man, he just going to wash Regis. They say, oh, man, you know, Shakur, he just going to wash Santos. I would really love to see those Vegas betting odds when this thing come through. But who am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? It seems like in these days and times, man, when you want to speak the truth about boxing, when you want to be a boxing purist, and you don't want to play the politics games, and you don't want to be pointing fingers at this person, that point, and you want to get down to what's going on inside the ring, everybody's so exhausted about talking about the politics, nobody really talks about the fight. This is Southpaw against Southpaw. Ritchardson Hitchins also said that ShakurStevenson says that he loves fighting Southpaw. You know what I'm saying? How true that is, not sure. But I think that this is the perfect storm. I think that this fight is also going under the radar. It seems like probably the Regis and Devin fight is probably getting promoted the most because of, you know, one fighter's real large fan base. But I think that Benavidez and Andre is getting underpromoted. I think that ShakurStevenson and Edwindelossantos is getting underpromoted. And Regis and Devin, I think it could be done more. But what they have on, you know, for you readily available to see, I think they're doing a pretty good job. I think the little back and forth between them with the black and white stuff and them talking they smack to each other, that was classy. I would have loved to see more of that for ShakurStevenson, being that he is a blooming star. A lot of people claim they don't know him and this and this and that. He gets a lot of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? This man was a U.S. Olympian. He is a 2-division champion. Yes, he made his blunder by missing weight. Yes, he lost some of his leverage by coming up. He regained himself by coming up, stopping Yoshino, making himself the mandatory. And now it's because of him and his actions as far as petitioning, he now has a belt that he can fight for and stamp himself rightfully so. Because right now, oh man, he hasn't done anything at 135 he needs to do. Well, this is going to be something to do. You know what I'm saying? I hope ShakurStevenson is bringing his lunch pail and his hard hat. You know, I hope that Edwindelossantos is not going to take this opportunity for granted. And I don't think he will. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think that it's all about the money, because when the Frank Martin and Shakur fight fell out, it wasn't long before there was somebody, his name was Edwindelossantos, and we didn't hear anything about it. It's been all systems go. So let's pray to the boxing gods that this one actually gets across the finish line. You know, we don't want another Giannis and Virgil. I always talk about it, but there's rumblings and tea leaves that Giannis is actually going to get to cut his teeth on Keith Thurman, which I think is an excellent fight. Excellent fight. I salute Keith for finally stepping up, if that is the case. But in regards to ShakurStevenson and Edwindelossantos, 2 weeks away on a Thursday, I think it's good, man. A fight like that, of that magnitude, to be able to see some new talent, to be able to see somebody put on display. And this is not going to be easy for either guy. It's not going to be easy for either one of them. No, neither one of these guys are anything to shake a stick at. And regardless of the outcome of this fight, they will have been able to make a statement. Who knows? We might get a rematch. You know what I'm saying? This is the year of rematch. If it's close enough, depending on the verdict, we'll probably get to see it again. I'm not sure. I'm going to stay. I'm going to follow this fight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get away from the politics regarding everything else. Because I said that I'm going to start focusing on two fighters and when they want to actually fight each other. That's important now. In activity, when two fighters want to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Because money matters at some point, or it don't matter at some points. Belts matter at some points, and they don't matter at some points. What really matters is when two fighters want to get in the ring and do their thing. And that's what you have here. Anyways, I would love to get your take on this, man. How do you feel about this fight? You know what I'm saying? Are we fair in our assessment when we're looking at these opponents? Do we just dismiss boxers at any point in time because they're not to our choosing? You know what I'm saying? Neglecting all their skills? Do we over embellish? Do we get offended when somebody is saying that an opponent of your favorite fighter is actually getting ready to fight him and he actually has a chance? Why is that so offensive? I think it would be much more to the fighter's glory if we were to be more like Ritchardson Hitchins and tell the truth about what it is. That's the kind of friends I want around. I want the kind of friends that let me know, hey man, hey, that corner over there is dangerous over there. Hey, don't drive over there. Hey, watch out for this dude because, you know what I'm saying, he's able to do this. Those are the kind of people that I want around. You know what I'm saying? So I salute Ritchardson Hitchins, man. I'm excited for this fight. Anyway, that's all I have for you on this one, man. I'll be touching bases. You know I will as things unfold around this fight. But thanks for tuning in here at BodyWork Boxing. We don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
Welcome to